woke up with a bit of a headache. Been having a lot of those lately, and um, I think it's mostly just sinuses or something with all of this awful weather. It's been aggravating things. So I didn't feel too good. I wasn't sure if I was going to stream today, but I'm going to try and tough it out. Let me tweet real quick. Yeah. So yesterday we had house tours, and that means today we're back into my main spot, the Protostar Sky Plaza. We're working on a new painting for the art shop. Now, I've kind of been in contact with a fellow builder by the name of Flower. You might recognize that name from some posts that were in the official forums and housing subforum. They are the creator of a lot of the fantastical pianos. And we were talking about possibly working out an exchange between the two of us, a piano for some of my paintings, because they seem to kind of enjoy the paintings and stuff. At the moment, I haven't agreed to an exchange like that. I said I would be interested, but I don't have an idea of where to put a big old piano. So I imagine the pieces required will probably be pretty extensive. Good morning, Soccer Top and Bones. Glad you could join us. Anyway, so I've asked Flower to hold off on it and until I decide where I might want to put a piano, and then I'll feel a little better about making some sort of an exchange. It's not the first time someone has asked me about sharing some of the things that I make, be it just to as a gift or as commission and stuff. And I kind of mentioned this the last time we talked about it. I just have a real weirdness about charging people for what I make. I've had a few people throw out some numbers, but other than maybe just charging directly for the materials used, that's about the best I can do, because I hate charging for my time because I'm kind of slow anyway compared to a lot of other builders. And then there comes the issue of, like, if I use something that costs renown, how do I charge that out? That's because it's not like you can kind of share your renown with someone. So I don't know. I actually saw somebody in the past where they kind of outlined renown was like X amount of plat, like 25,000 renown was worth X amount of plat or something like that. And yeah, if you want to get into that, that's fantastic for you. But I don't know. It still kind of makes me a little weird. I feel weird charging for people for building something that I just find entertaining. And when it comes to commissions, as I tried to explain to Flower and a couple of others just asked about it, it's really difficult for me to kind of build according to a special request. Like if they name a specific, like say they had said, can you make me a dragon? I probably would have freaked, thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to use for a dragon? Having no idea. What happens for me is usually it's an item that I see and I'll look at it and I'll think, that kind of reminds me of this or that, and then I play off of that, and that's how it comes about. And as I mentioned before, for the dragon in particular, I had seen the dragon fencing in someone's house that I happened to be visiting, and they had it kind of inset into their wall. I think it was an Warren house or something. It was one of the round ones. And the way they had it inset, I immediately thought dragon. I don't know why, but that's what came to mind. And so thereafter, I thought, I'm going to try that eventually down the road. And so I did. Same way with the sunset painting. We have several kind of yellowish gold items, but the shiny lighter, it's something I've had for a long, long time. I don't even remember how I got a hold of it. It's probably the auction house that I found it cheap or something. And I've never actually used it. I've never put it out, as a little, just something on a desk or anything in any of my builds. It's always just sat in my crate collecting dust, and I thought I've got to figure out something to use. And when I started in with these paintings, I thought I wonder if I can use that in some way in a painting. And because of the color, sunset scene came to mind. So that's how that one came about. Um, this one though, it's kind of as a request. As I mentioned, Katia is working on a beach house build on entity side. And she said that it would be fun if she can collect a few pieces from other builders and kind of showcase them there. And she's asked if I would paint something for her. Now, she specifically mentioned things like fantasy creatures like a phoenix and stuff, because she really liked the bold gold colors and stuff. Well, that immediately, put up the brakes for me, because I'm like, I don't know if I can, because the shiny lighter, it's kind of rare, it's not easy to get a hold of. I only had the one, and even though there's other goldish items, maybe they don't work as well. And I was like, I don't know if I can pull it. And a phoenix, it's got those. I know it's kind of made of fire, but it looks kind of feathery and very dainty, and I just wasn't sure I could pull it off. I did a lot of Googling of Phoenix images. I went through the whole crate looking at items saying, okay, could I use this? Could I use that? Like I thought about maybe using the weather vane, the little duck looking thing on the top of that. It doesn't really look like a rooster. It looks like a duck to me, or a swan or something. And I was trying to think, well, could I add to that? But then you got the whole weather vane pole that you got to get rid of. And I don't know. It just kind of freaked me out. So what I've done is I've just kind of thought, okay, beach house, what kind of things what kind of artwork would you think you would see at a beach house? And I think of beach type of things that, to do with the ocean or the sea, wherever it happens to be. And so I ended up on Seahorse. So that's how this has come about. I don't know if it's going to be what she likes, if she'll be happy with the outcome. Even if she doesn't, I'm going to keep it myself. But if she does end up liking it, then of course, I will pass it along to her via the code, KBT code. But so yeah, it's kind of commissioned, but it's kind of not, because it's really not what she requested or was thinking about. So I don't know if it'll end up being something that she will accept from me, but I've decided I'm sticking with it because I kind of like the idea, and I'm anxious to see how it turns out. I did do some more crafting to kind of make it so that we have plenty of pieces to use. You can see I've created a few, and then I've got a little stack in my inventory to put in place. I'm just readjusting size in here. Looked like the snout was a little too big, and really I think there should be a little bit of a curve or something, a little bit more of some body to the head there. Yeah, I thought about that, Moans, but I tried making seashells for my little beach scene, and that didn't work out very good. So I don't know. Maybe someone else can come up with some nifty ideas in that regard, but it's just not something I was able to come up with. But uh, I thought about clownfish, but we don't have a lot of really stark orangey type items. We have the carrot, but um, it's one of those things where it might be tougher for people to get hold, because that's actually an item that someone has to actually buy themselves, since it's bind on pickup. And I know this one kind of has a little bit of uh, requirements for it. You actually have to have a crafter craft it for you, but at least it's a little bit more available than if you have to have a certain amount of renown or not renown, reputation with a particular group. Just trying to figure out how to shape this head here. Windmills, I guess. I told her I might try a lighthouse scene later because she did mention like a landscape possibly, and maybe oops, a lighthouse or something like that would work, like on Eclipse or something. But again, it's one of those things I'll have to play around with. When I get an idea in my head, or I think I might can, put it together, then I have to hunt down a lot of objects that might work for it, and that's not so easy. Well, I did think a mermaid, but I think I want to say there was someone that posted some pictures of some mermaids they made. I want to say it was in the custom decor showcase thread, in fact, where they had put together some mermaids using some of the, I want to say it was the overgrowth, but I'm not sure if that was these or not. I know this is, it's strain and maybe it's kind of weird looking for some, but okay, I think I'll have to send that out now. Not to say that I couldn't try a mermaid because someone else said I'm, an avid supporter of go ahead and go for it if you can, but I can't think of any other way of doing it other than the way they did it. It was a really nice version. I think I probably would have done it the hard way and probably used something for scales, which I think they managed to avoid. Let's see. I don't know. Does that look maybe a little bit more up here on the top? I just have a general idea of what a Seahorse looks like. It may look nothing like this. No, let's bump this one up maybe. I'm just kind of shaping now. It's just, I think I'm gonna have to add some more. Running out of duplicates here. It's amazing how quickly the duplicates, the pieces disappear when you're playing around with it like this. Got a really big purpley crown there. And then I got to figure out, okay, what am I going to use for the eyeball? I mean, I know we have the massive ocular spheres, or I don't think they're called that anymore. I think it's just ocular sphere. Yeah, it's just ocular sphere now. But I don't know if green will go well with the purple. And then I don't want that big staring eyeball. I'm gonna put it down just to see. Maybe it'll help me place something else. But whoa! Meant to turn it. And of course, I think it disappears when it gets really, really small. I had that problem with the Rudolph buffalo moose or whatever it was. The eye would you didn't see it really good after a certain size. Wow, that's like a huge eyeball. He looks like he's scared. Yeah, I don't think it'll look. It's weird. Yeah, I don't think that'll work. I need to find something that complements the purple, I think, a little better and isn't so ta-da out there. Let's see. I know that the belly of it, I think I'd like to flesh that out a little more. add another 5. When I have something like this and I'm not sure how many pieces I'm going to use, I don't want to just automatically throw them all in. I kind of piece it a little bit here and there. Because you never know, you might need the space for something else. So let's turn this. Oops. Keep twisting it the wrong way. I want that big globby pinky bit at the top to go bye-bye. Hoping that doesn't bother too much. I'm just kind of wanting this a little bit more solid tiny bit to help flesh out the chest to make it look a little bit more full. Something like so. They still got some of the purpley spines, but not like real heavy there. That's a little better. I like that. Okay, and then I think they usually have like a little fin thing on the back. I think. Maybe. Whoa, 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 whoa. Gosh, I keep like just yoinking that all over the place. I meant to hit the green one. Then we're gonna turn this way. Maybe size it a little bit. It's a smaller bit, I think. It's gonna need to be even smaller. Well, maybe not that small. I don't know if that's gonna work. Maybe maybe smaller and have to double it up. I'll try it that way and see if that works. It's really hard to see the size I'm making it. It doesn't seem to look right to me. I'm gonna have to do that different, I think. Looks more like a bump instead of a fin. So let me try that again. Size that back up. Do this way. Use a different part. Let's see. This part's more. Whoa, 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 whoa. I want to turn this up. Let's turn it this way. Maybe. Excuse me. Like. Oh, I'm gonna have to turn that back. The spine's gonna just be poking out funny. Don't know if this is gonna work either. It might be a little weird with that it's a little more solid than I was really wanting. But I want something to be a little kind of like curved the opposite way, if that makes sense. Maybe one more. So he's got a little funny fin in the back. I looked at images of seahorses and stuff, but you know, even when you're looking at something, depending on the object you're using, you might not get it exactly like you're wanting. I think that's okay. Okay, and then I'd really like to give him some extra, like lots of little curly bits. So I'm probably going to use lots of these. Oh, good. Bit like this. I want to give it show more of the, I don't know, not hair, but you know, it's a seahorse. So it's kind of like got a mane kind of thing. So I want to give it a little decoration up. Now, add some more. I think I'm going to end up using, I think I made like 25 or something of these yesterday. So you can tell I'm like using them all up. That's a lot of pieces for it. But, you know, depending on the outcome, it might be worth it. I'm just going to lay in a few and then see how I want to shape it, if I want it to shorten or turn a little more or something. Something like that. I want it to kind of go down just to about here, so he has like a mane kind of thing. Not that it's a lion or anything, but you know, horses have that little bit of hair, and I know it's not an actual horse, but it's kind of named after that, so I want to kind of emphasize that connection. Yes. I think one more in the front. Good. Kind of looks like it joins right up with that little crack that's in the. I'm kind of wanting to go beyond that, so it doesn't look like so. I don't know if they are or not. I'm just calling it that. It could be, you know, maybe it's just called the spine or something. I know they have like, well, depending on maybe the type. I'm sure there's different kinds, but I know they come in different colors. But you know, maybe some have more filamenty tendrils that come out. But just due to the piece that I've chosen, I don't think it will lend itself too well, because like I said, the smaller I make this, the more likely it is that you can't see it from a distance. As it is, you can see it kind of loses that little decoration the further away you go. But again, with the spacing, I'm just eyeballing. I'm not really like using any kind. I'm kind of doing this like I would do a drawing at home, just kind of winging it. A bit more. Just kind of drawing it down. Give him a nice crown, mane, whatever you call it. I don't know. I'm wondering if I need another kind of piece here. He needs a little bit more of like a bottom jaw thing, I think. I don't know if this is going to stick out up top. Hopefully not. You'll have to send me that link or something. I'll have to take a look. But that sounds like a funny description. Like, it looks like a baseball with a cross-eyed seahorse behind it. Poor thing, he's probably miserable. I don't know if I like that or not. Turn that a little bit. See, it just needs a little extra something there. Okay. It's getting there. I kind of like how it's turning out so far. Trying to see what else I could do. I might could add some extra little spiky bits to the tail to give it a little bit more, I don't know, spiky. But it looks like I am out of pieces. So that is probably gonna, I mean, that's just awful with the dressers. Gonna have to really seriously double it. I guess I could work on that since we know it's gonna have the dressers, because I really like the water bits on that. So we've got the back fin. I don't know if I assume they have some kind of like little feathery fins on the sides, but I don't really want to clutter this up too much. I think the overall shape and everything is okay. Oh, sorry, Bones. Yeah, I still have Mr. Bot set up to not allow links. You have to message me that. Sorry. It's just one of those things. I've had people in the past post some links that I was worried that might be not so nice, and I don't want anyone clicking on something. It's not that I don't trust you, and I've tried setting, supposedly I could set people that I trust to be able to allow them to post links, and I've set it for that, but it doesn't act like it recognizes that setting. I don't know if maybe it's because I'm not turbo or something. I don't have any idea, so apologies on that. I'm just looking to see if the proportions feel right to me. I don't know if I'm happy with the sizing or not. I think so. I think it looks okay. Oh dear. Okay, that's fine. As long as I get it somewhere, that'll work. But yeah, I think I'm going to add some little spikies to this eventually. But for now, since we're out of pieces, and I don't really want to do the town thing on the stream, I hate going to town for crafting. So I'm gonna see about how much damage this is gonna be to try and cover up this mess. I know there's a lot of flickering, which I hate, but when it comes to this stuff, it's really kind of hard to get around that. I'm gonna see if I can get it to stop just by tweaking it just a touch. You'll notice that it's still trying to turn things, which is annoying. So I'll probably make it the 2 deep, and then the back part, I don't know. I would mention that it does have some of those what are they called? Travel posters in there. There's actually one right behind the water bits, and then there's one right here. You can kind of see it a little bit. Those actually would probably be removed from the set once I was done, but I leave it there because as I change out the paintings, then I have like a clean canvas to work with if I leave it. But for like if I was giving it to somebody, then I would probably remove those bits. Those are unneeded, unnecessary. Just like I would probably just give them the front part and leave this stuff sticking out, and they can just mush it up into their wall. Unless of course they have, you know, custom built walls, and then they have to think about the thickness, and they, you know, just like if anybody actually received any of these paintings, they would be welcome to change the frames. I just use these because it's cheap and easy, and I don't have to really think too much about it, but they would be free to frame it differently if they want. As I move these to the art gallery, I've been kind of playing around with different framing ideas, using actual portrait frames, you know, having them set in so that it looks like it's a different painting inside their frames. Because, you know, like the reclining woman has a nice big, curvy, wide border, and I like that one. And there's a couple of others that have some interesting borders, but for out here, it's just going to be plain old wood. And the reason I use the metal edge is because they're thicker than the 2x4s. I really wish we could get some 2x4s in the same shapes as the block wood, but without the metal bits. If that makes sense. Just, I don't know. It'd be nice. Oh, I see some stuff sticking out the side here. That's going to be a problem. What is that? Part of his little fin. Maybe if I change the size just a little bit. Maybe it won't affect it too much, but it hides it just enough. I think that'll be okay. Same way with this one. On here. Yeah, hide it just enough, but it still keeps in with the shape that I wanted. That worked. Kind of funny how that worked out with the purple and then the darker purple kind of coming in. It just kind of fits for the face. Fun. I like that. To see if I had, you know, specifically went out to say I'm going to do a seahorse, I probably would have never thought of using that silly spine thing. I was just going through all the junk in my crate, and I saw the strange stuff, and the strange stuff is another thing that I don't use too often in a lot of my builds, kind of like with the technophage stuff. And when I come across those, I always think, well, is there some way I can incorporate that to use it? But usually the answer is no. Okay, so how am I going to cover this up? Probably just do it like this. Normally I would just have the travel posters showing at the back, so it look almost like a framed canvas from the back as well as the front. But I think just because of these legs sticking out, I'm just gonna be like really thick. not the most ideal, but you know, that's the kind of compromise I make by having this kind of set the way I have for display up here. When they move to the gallery, you won't see all of this funkiness. Maybe I can put that. No, I don't want to leave it like it is. Now I read that there was a lot of people having problems with like some of their stuff resetting. Some of the things that they save, like their, I don't know if it's keybinds or what, due to the recent, I guess there was a hotfix last night. I haven't noticed anything weird. Then again, I haven't really done any actual gameplay. I've just been in the house doodling around. So be aware of that. If you notice anything quirky, it's probably that. I'm going to rotate this one as well. And wow, my stomach is just going nuts. You guys probably can't hear it, but I can. It's slightly annoying. See, that doesn't look like it's lined up right, does it? Oh well. It like rotates oddly. Yeah. Size that down just a bit. Trying to get rid of all the metal pieces. There's enough poking out. We don't need any more. You know, if you had to use this as like it is with all this big hunky, you could pretend maybe it's a secret safe or something. There's like, oops. And that the picture is hiding the little knobby thing or something. I don't know. Or maybe it's a special cabinet or just a really clunky piece of furniture with the painting on it. I'm going to keep forgetting to copy. There we go. Again, for those wondering what add-ons I'm using, this one in particular that I keep clicking on, that's Laments. I think it's the Toolbox Pro add-on that they created. It's actually meant to be a companion to their Housing Set Decor Manager. I don't know if this whole thing is the two together or what, but I mostly use it for the duplicating just really quick. Mostly because when I use Catia's, I actually have to type in /Catia to get the add-on to pop up, and it's fairly large. And so if I'm just doing a lot of quick duplicating like I just did, I normally opt to use Laments. It's just easier. It auto pops up when you click on an item, and it's just, for me, it's just handier. I also use it if, like, say I wanted to link this whole painting up right now, I would probably use the little radial link tool that this one has, as compared to Catia's. It's just preference. Both of them are helpful add-ons. So, you know, if you don't want to have one, or, you know, if you don't want to have both, you can just pick whichever one you prefer. I just tend to use both at different times. So, but if you want to give them a try, I do have them linked in my resources section on the Twitch channel page. And you can go straight to the course page and download it, try it out. It's really easy. There's no like specific settings you gotta, pick or whatever. It's just a very handy tool. They're not required, of course. You can still build with just the basic in-game tools that are available. It may go slower, but it's still possible. Yeah, same bones. I use them both pretty evenly. Really, like I said, it just depends on what I'm doing. But speaking of the resources section on my Twitch channel page, I do want to give a shout out to the Nexus Construction League. It's only for entity side, but they are hosting their first annual housing competition. The due date is February 14th, the way I understand it. I think there is kind of a little grace period after that for late entries, but there's some stipulations. If you turn yours in later, your plot might not get the allotted time that's promised for all of the entrants because you put it in late. But you need to go to the thread to see all of the details for that. But unfortunately, it's just entity. I know, I likely have a few viewers that either they are always on entity or maybe they have an entity character they want to give it a try. But admissions are open now. I don't think there's any particular theme. It's just anything goes. If you feel like your place has a shot, so you can just submit it. There's already been several entries put in by some well-known builders, in fact. So I can already see that the competition is going to be high, but due to them wanting to kind of extend the prize pool as broadly as they can, I think there's actually going to be 8 winners. So there's a good chance that you may grab a little bit of goodies. They have 8 different prize packs. They've got it all lined out on their little page as far as what each pack entails. And I think the way it is they're going to go by a point system. Kind of similar to what we did with the Winterfest one, and based on your points, that will determine who gets to pick what prize first. So I guess the top scorer will get their choice first, and then the next one will get and so on. But it's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing the entries for that and how it turns out. I don't have a character on entity side. I'm still not inclined to do that. It took me forever, not kidding there, forever to get my Dominion Chua up to 14 on EU side. So I can just imagine how long it'll take me to do the other one on entity, because I just prefer to stay on my main because all my time is there, all of my items are there. So I just want to give her all the goodies, and so when I'm somewhere else, I start feeling guilty, I guess, and I'm like, nope, I can't do it. So it was like I'd play that Chua for like a few minutes, and then I'd go back, and then I'd play, I might do like 1 or 2 quests, and then I'd go back, and so now that he's at 14, he will probably never, ever go any further. He will never have money. He would just be a poor little Chua that's only there for the purpose of staring at other people's homes. But anyway, okay, so we boxed it in. You can see it's pretty chunky, mostly because of the choice of the item I used. If you decide to use something like the folded shirts, that's a lot flatter, so you can get away with not having to worry about that. You could even maybe go with using a solid dark background and then maybe layering glass on top of that to give it the watery bluish kind of effect. I don't know if that would work per se, but it's an option, an idea. I just like the way that there's lines and there's different shades of blue, almost like the sun's coming through and kind of lighting up the water. That's why I like the tops of these dressers. So I was determined to use them, so that's why it's so thick. Typically it wouldn't be that way. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure and craft. I'll probably do another 15 or 20 just to be safe, that I've got plenty of the spines. It's just the giant strain blades that I'm using. That's all I've used for this whole entire little creature here. And if you've been following along, this will be day 2, so you can see once you kind of get an idea in your head and kind of have a better feel for what you're trying to go for. Once you get into it, things kind of fall together. May have to pull that out a little bit more. I don't necessarily like that little blue showing, so I'll have to fix that. Once I get the Seahorse done to my satisfaction, then we will see maybe about adding a little bit of, like, I don't know, greenery here, maybe some stones or something, some kind of setting for it, like something that looks like kelp or a coral or something. I'll have to think about what could be used for that. Preferably things that have some flatness and aren't too thick, at least not thicker than the dressers, obviously. Things that work well, that can be shrunk down without them disappearing too soon, is also ideal for little details like this, because like I said, like with the spines, the further away you get, the more they disappear. So you want to keep that in mind. So this is a fair distance. If I had to go any closer, then I think that might be not a good idea to use that particular size, but it seems to hold itself together pretty decent at this distance, and that's kind of I think this is at the distance most people play, or a lot of people, I should say. For me, I tend to play out like this, so I'm constantly, when I am touring a house, I always have to force myself to remember to zoom in, because I tend to play with my camera all the way out just so I can see more of the world. But when it comes to housing, zooming in about here is about fair. It's about a good distance. So if these things were disappearing at about here, then I would probably rethink my idea. Maybe I would make the painting larger so that I could get away with using those small details, but at a larger size, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'll be looking for ideas about some of the greenery. I'll craft some more of the spine pieces, and maybe we'll be wrapping it up tomorrow, fingers crossed. And that's not too bad, a few days. I think we spent maybe an hour and a half tops the day before yesterday on it, the first day. And I don't know how long we've been on today. I don't think very long at all. But you can see just from start to finish, it's not going to be too terribly long, I don't think. One other thing I want to talk about is Flower, the one that does the pianos. They were talking about how they sign their piano, and they like engrave it with the word flower on their pianos. You probably see that in the forums. And they suggested to me to come up with a way of adding a signature to my paintings, maybe with a KG or some such. I have been racking my brain on a way to cleverly put together some kind of a little signature that I can apply to everything. More than likely, for instance, I would probably remove this and just put the KG here, and then have to find, maybe put the KG on one of the rocks here. The same way here, apply it somewhere. But I don't want it something that's, there's like a few rules I'm gonna put forth on that. It has to be something that I can easily get, inexpensive, so not the shiny lighter, for instance. I did think about that, Bones, just the tiny carrot plushie. I really have considered that. But I'm going to try something a little different first. I'm going to actually try and go with the actual signature of KG. Just working out items that when they're shrunk down to a certain size, that they disappear. I'm looking for ones that, kind of hold their own. See, like the fences here, they're pretty good, even though the size is fairly small. So I'm going to be playing around with ideas, and you know, once I have something sorted out, then I'll apply that to all of the paintings, and that way, if and when I share those with other people, they'll have that little mark on there. It's not to say that people couldn't remove it. You know, they could easily manipulate some of the things that I send them, but hopefully they will be respectful enough to leave it. But Clara suggested that it was something that might be a little nice touch, and I thought it was a fun idea. I hadn't even thought about it. And in fact, in real life, when I do drawings and stuff for other people, I tend to forget to sign it. They have to remind me because I don't know, I don't think about that. I just say, hey, I did what you know, I made you something, and here you go, and I just tend to not sign it. It's probably a bad habit, maybe, but I don't know, it's kind of weird. Not to mention the fact that uh, I get confused as to how I'm supposed to sign because in the States, you usually sign your married name. Here in Belgium, they go by the maiden name, so I never know what to sign anyway. So I, it's like I have aliases or something that, you know, in one place I'm one name, and one place I'm another. I don't know. I thought about you because what I'd really like is something that's orange colored that I can use as the letter. So I was thinking I was going to grab a bunch of carrot plushies and see if I can fashion some letters using them. Um, but if worse comes to worse, I may just put a little tiny carrot on there and call it good because it's, no, it didn't. I don't know what the J is for. The last name is Greenleaf, so it'd have to be a G, which is a pretty consuming letter anyway, because you know the K is like maybe you get away with 3 pieces, but the G is like if you did it in straight lines, it'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces, and it's a little extra. But if you want to make a curvy, then it's going to take even more. And I looked for items that kind of had those letters, like there's I'm a shopper here. Like the neon signs, they have this, it looks like a G, but because of the way it's inset into the item, there's no way I can just um, zero in on that part. This one, I actually could zero in on the part because it's separated, but the way that it would be facing is the wrong direction for the G. I'd have to have it this way, but then the yellow would be in the way. So it's, I don't know. I really wish, you know, even if they come up with these weird little letters and symbols that they have in WildStar, if they could give us an alphabet set, I would so love that because it would make my life easier. But, you know, see, here's the G, but I can't use it because it's got that funkiness on top of it. But I went through like tons of images looking for things that maybe were the shape of a G, um, you know, something that was a little curly. I thought about maybe the rocks with the swirls on them. You know, do they look like a G kind of? And I thought, no, maybe that, you know, doesn't work really well. And uh, I don't know. It's just not the easiest thing to kind of come up with. And of course, like I said, you want to find items that don't disappear if you have to make them pretty small. Because with the signature, you don't want it being too intrusive into the painting. I thought this was kind of intrusive, even though it's really pretty far away from the actual subject of the painting. But like here, it's going to have to be fairly small. And I just, if worst comes to worst, I'll probably end up doing the little, you know, just putting a little carrot there. But oh, my stomach. Gonna have to go eat something very soon. But that's some of the things I'm been playing around in my head for well, since yesterday, I guess. Hey, Jinra, welcome to the show. So yeah, any ideas you guys have for signature creation? You know, if you come up with some clever ideas for a K and a G, so be sure and let me know. Garden hose? I don't know. Let's see, do I have one of those? Let me just pop one out here and we'll take a look. Kind of really squiggly. I don't know if you could get something. That's the problem. We got a lot of Kirby stuff. There's I came across some plants that had it, but then there was the thing of them being kind of motion, and I don't really want the signature kind of floating weirdly. Um, but yeah, it's gonna take some time probably for me to settle on something, and I definitely want to do that before I give my first painting to someone else. So but like, you know, I looked at like wires and everything that had some kind of a curviness to it, the hanging wires, but then they got the little bit that, you know, kind of goes the opposite direction that looks a little lumpy, and plus it's black, so you know, it would be difficult to sign black on black. So then I worry, you know, am I going to come across the thing where I'll pick an item and then the color will actually blend too well into the painting itself, or I end up having to put it somewhere awkward. That's why I kind of wanted to stick with the idea of using something orange, because there's probably less likelihood that there will be a full orange background of something. But we'll see. The carrot idea, just using the little mini carrot, would probably be the best. And I probably wouldn't have it where the face is shown. I would just turn it so that it's just the back. It's just a plain little carrot, maybe turned a little bit or something. Um, I don't know, but we'll see. I'll have to go and get myself, because I actually don't have any more. I used them all on the turkey dinner that I have out here at the restaurant. Um, all of my little baby carrots are there as part of the dinner. So I'm gonna have to go get me some more, and then play around with the notion. But you know, I looked at fence pieces, seats. Well, not seats because of the way it lights up when you're too close to it. But I looked at everything, trying to figure out what I could use. Um, and like I said, I tried to find natural things that had the shape that I wanted, but they always had some extra bit, or they were blocked funny, like the lights with the signs, the neon signs. Because the little green G would work pretty great, but it's just it ends up backwards when I can use it. So it's frustrating, but I'll eventually get there. I think Flower uses 2x4s. I really didn't get a close look at some of the pianos that Flower made, but you know, because I only see them from the pictures that they've posted. But well, I thought about using bananas, just plain old bananas, but then I thought, well, yellow. I really prefer the idea of using orange. In fact, I kind of wanted to do that here. I was when I was struggling with the name for this particular plot, I was thinking about, you know, maybe I should make K-Mall or something like that. And I was thinking, oh, I'm going to use something orange, and I couldn't find anything that worked really well for the size that I needed it. So I just said, meh, we'll just call it Protostar. You know me, I'm a big fan of the little green guys. So, but yeah. So I will craft some more of the strain blade stuff. We'll work on some of the greenery, and maybe I'll have a better idea, or maybe some examples to show you guys, and you guys can pick out what you like better for signatures. But we'll probably save that for tomorrow. I think for now, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. Again, I appreciate you guys joining in. I thank you for the new followers. I noticed I got a couple yesterday. I don't have those little auto ding dings or whatever you call them that let me know that somebody's following right at the time that they're following. So I apologize if folks, feel disappointed. I know there's a lot of streamers that have that, it's got a notice that says, oh, such and such is, donated, or such and such is, followed you. I only learn after the fact. But I do appreciate it. It lets me know that folks are still interested in the stuff that we're discussing on here. Just a final reminder for those that have characters on the entity and have a home that they really want to show off and get some, screen time for it. Nexus Construction League is having or hosting their first annual housing competition. The link is there on my Twitch channel page in the resources section, or you can go straight to the official forums and just look in the housing subforum. I think that's where they posted it. There's already several entries, but the deadline is February 14th, so you got at least a couple weeks or so to kind of get your stuff in order. But be sure and read all of the details. I mean, they go into a great length as far as how the judging is set up. I think they even gave it a special name or something, Splippers. I don't know what it's called. But they detail out, how many points is awarded for creativity or immersion or whatever it is that they've got as their criteria. They listed out how many points that's worth, and I think it comes up to 100 total. So, they've really put a lot of work into it, so it would be really great if a lot of people would participate. Like I said, though, it's just entity, so unfortunately, any EU builders that are strictly EU will not be eligible. Just a thing of logics. The prizes that they have, a lot of them are in-game related, like things from the cash shop, and that's all available on entity side. So there's really no way for them to transfer them over. It's not like they can just mail you that stuff. So until such time that they break down the region barriers or something, if ever, that will remain an issue for a lot of competitions of this nature. So anyway, good luck to those that decide to enter. And hopefully one of the groups that tends to hold competitions on EU will eventually host one for our side as well. There's several that kind of do that on our sides of the pond, so eventually maybe Carbine will put something together themselves for an upcoming holiday or whatever. But yeah, so thanks for joining. Appreciate the comments and the suggestions and the company, of course. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.